Hey folks, Drew Press Masterclass Angling here. Hey, I'm going to do a fly tying video on how to tie a fly that I developed a couple of years ago that has been absolutely deadly for me. It's called the KTMT, and it's going to look like this. It's a little nymph pattern. I do a couple different versions of it. This is the Euro nymph version of it. I developed this fly after many conversations with my buddy Kenny. Kenny lives up in Newport, Vermont, and has fished the Clyde River for many years. And we've chased landlocks and browns and all sorts of salmonids together for a long time. And he really knows the Clyde really well. And he's just like, you gotta have purple, gotta have purple. And we're sitting down or having dinner after a day of fishing, and we're talking about fly design. And he's like, the purple UV ice dub is deadly on these fish. And like I was talking about, I love having the biot tails and peacock herl. And we talked about a bunch of different things. A couple of days later, I went out and I put together a fly. Now this isn't the original version of it. I'll do a video on that at some point. But the long and short of it is that, like, gotta have the purple. And tied some of those flies up, and the first time I was able to get on the river, I managed to I sight fished a 20-inch brown, and it grabbed it the first swing by. I was like, okay, this thing is working. Love it. And it has been super effective ever since. Between the purple UV ice dub, the purple rubber legs, and the peacock herl is a real fish getter, and the biots. This fly has worked on all sorts of stuff. Browns, steelhead. I love this fly, and it's tied up and try it out. So I'm going to tie it up on, I'm calling it KTMT. KTMT is Kenny told me to. And I'm tying it on a fulling mill, short shank jig hook. Love this hook. Great hook gap on it. I love the 90-degree bend on the hook eye for this too. This is a great hook. Great Euro nymphing hook. So, and I've got a 3.2 millimeter purple metallic fulling mill bead on there, and going into the vise. It's pretty early in the morning. I'm tying this. My fly tying desk is in my bedroom, and I'm kind of glad it's kind of dark in here so you guys can't see how messy my room is. Really glad you can't see the desk. My fly tying desk is a mess right now. All right. And I need to get a little bit more black thread. So I've got that bead on here. Sometimes if I really want these heavily weighted, I will put on a little lead wire to really plunk that thing down. So I got black fly tying thread on here. Let's get that started and snip that. Get a good thread base on here. So what we're going to start off with on the back end, a little ball of dubbing, a little black dubbing. This is just to split the biots. And you don't need very much, just a little ball of dubbing will do it. Boop. There we go. You just want that to split the biots. And of course I pull the biots out, and oh, there we go. And just cutting a couple. And I'm going to cut them to length here. So what I do is I take these biots and I split them because they have a natural curve. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take two biots, and I'm going to, you probably can't see it real well, but I'm going to split these two so that they're facing outward, okay? And I'm going to put these on. I want these about the same length as the hook shank. Okay, super reminiscent. I think that they make it look a little bit like a stonefly. They could look a little bit like a mayfly, something that the fish are going to want to eat. So it splits the tail, so you can kind of see that there, how it's split wide open. split open and melt for you fish fans out there. So it splits them open, creates a nice V. That ball of dubbing really helps that. Next thing I'm going to put on here is a little brassy sized chartreuse wire. Just a little sparkle and flash, little contrasting color to go in with the peacock. Put that in before the peacock. Snip. Okay. Wire going in. And oop. There we go. Wrap that right up to the ball of dubbing. Boom. Now I'm going to use a little peacock. I'll use 4 pieces of herl. 2, 3, 4. All right. And I just trim the ends of them so that they're all flat. I'm going to lay them right on the hook shank. And I do the whole length of the hook shank. Builds up my body a little bit. I like this to be kind of a nice little stout fly. Okay, boom. Put that on there. And I'm going to wrap that forward to about, I guess about 2/3 of the hook shank. And I'm wrapping that in. Boom, boom. I want that to be a nice thick body. Okay. Now, snipping that. And I'm going to flip the fly over. I love having a rotary vise for that. And here I'm just going to counterwind that chartreuse wire through here. And there's that. Okay. All right. So at this point, I'm going to tie in a strand of crystal flash. So I'm just going to fold it over. So I have 2 strands in there. I'm going to tie that in. And just secure it in place. A couple wraps. And we're going to put my scud back. It's right here. I'm using 1/8" scud back. This is in brown stone. This is just helping create a little base for the wing case. Scud back. Like this stuff, it is fun to work with. And I'm going to tie that right in on top of the, get in there. Right on top of that chartreuse crystal flash. Now, what I want next is some rubber legs. And I find that a single piece of these purple barred rubber legs, single piece of this stuff, folded over in half, gives you the right length, or approximately the right length of legs. So I'm cutting that in half. I'm taking one of these and I'm going to tie it in right here. I'm just going to use a couple of wraps to tie it in on one side. 1, 2. And then I'm going to wrap it on the other side. I kind of want these folded back a little bit. Okay, there we go. Now I'm going to put in a little UV ice dub. Make sure this is nicely dubbed. I use a little saliva to help me with the dubbing. Probably shouldn't, but that's how I've done it for a long time. Boom. Nice noodle of purple ice dubbing in there. Get that in. Look at that. Looking sharp. Nice and glowy there. I hope this is making sense. Doing this on an iPhone. First time trying to do this with a small nymph. And I'm hoping it works out okay. Now, another purple barred leg, putting that in the front, right in the middle of it. Couple of X wraps. Want these legs kind of sticking out to the sides. Pulling the scud back over. Oh no. A couple of wraps to keep it in place. Pulling that chartreuse crystal flash in the front. Not very coordinated, but it is 6 o'clock in the morning. 1, 2. There we go. I'm going to cut that. Trim that right off. Boop. All right. Wrap that up a couple times. And I'm going to use my whip finisher. 1, 2, 3. I bought this whip finisher from Hook and Hackle Company when I first got into fly tying 20-something years ago. It's been with me this whole adventure. Love that thing. Okay, to finish this off, I'm going to use the black UV fly finish from Loon. Stuff is great. I love these little tips. Get right in there. I'm going to put a little right on top. Make sure I spread it out really nicely. There we go. Cap back on. Hit it with the UV light. You can see you get a little chartreuse coming through the black. And then the final thing I do is I just trim the legs while it's still in the vise. You know, I don't want this super long, so I'm just trimming off just a little bit so they're all even. Boom, there it is. That is a number 12 KTMT Nymph. These are really deadly. The tail should split nicely there. Boom, boom. Oh, it's way out of focus. So KTMT 2.0 on a jig nymph, Euro nymph style. Great. All right. Hope that helps out. I'll see if I can do a better one at some point. Drew Price out.